Hey everybody, CZ here with another Genshin Impact video. So, I would just like to say, be careful when leveling up your characters. You should stick to maybe 2 or 3 characters when leveling them up, when ascending them, when picking out a weapon, when leveling up your artifacts. You focus on those characters because the resources in this game are very limited. So let's go to the character screen. Oops. Let's go to the character screen. There we go. I clicked the wrong thing. Anyways, so as you can see here, if you go to level up, you can see the essential materials you need. You have to farm these as much as possible. But the thing is, these in itself are very limited. Like for example, these first 2 ascension materials, you get them from the bosses. But the bosses cost resin. And resin is limited. Since you have to wait for it to regen. You have to wait for it to replenish over time. It's 1 resin every 8 minutes. So your ability to farm these items are very limited. I've already checked myself. I have enough to craft the first material, so my checklist is done with that. I just haven't done it, just in case if who knows what I'll need. I've been farming dandelions like crazy, because resources in the open world, they have a respawn timer. And it's usually more than a day, or it's probably a day, I'm not sure, but for some reason it takes a long time for them to respawn. So I've been farming a lot of dandelions daily. Now for the mask. These masks are usually dropped by the most common enemy in the game, the hill churls. But even they have a respawn timer, and if you look for the elite versions of those monsters, they too have a respawn timer. So, what can you take from that? The resources that you're able to farm at a certain point in time will be limited. So, my suggestion is to focus on 2 or 3 characters. The reason why I have focused on 3 characters is because the Adventurer book, usually there are missions where you have to level up 3 characters to a certain level. And of course, I would like to progress so that I can move on to the next chapter. But as you can see here, I have not leveled them up to level 60 because 1, it would be a waste of character EXP from just doing the quests or killing mobs. Character EXP, just to like to emphasize, not adventure rank EXP. While that is great, but you know, since I have this mission where it requires me to level a weapon to level 70, which can only be done once I hit adventure rank 35 anyway, I've held off on the other stuff. Because you have to be really careful in leveling in this game. And you may think, I have a lot of EXP cards. Trust me, that is not a lot. This will probably, once I hit adventure rank 35, this will disappear real quick. Unless I run out of Mora first, or it's not enough to level all 3 characters. So it could be one of the 2 possibilities. So imagine if you try to distribute all of these EXP cards to more characters. Yeah, you're gonna be running out of EXP real soon. So be sure to pick 3 characters. Now, for when leveling those 3 characters, you also have to worry about their weapons, their artifacts, and their talents. For the weapon, try to like determine which is the best weapon, based on the character, their playstyle, your playstyle. For me, since I do a lot of, I went with the prototype Rancor for Jean, since I will be, like, one of her main talents, one of her main talents is hits by normal attacks have 50% chance to regenerate HP. So the higher her base attack and her physical attack, means more damage I'll be able to do, and more HP for the party. So she's generally my healer. So that's why I went with the prototype Rancor. You have to be sure which weapon you will enhance, because I'm just using this as an example because this is already maxed, so I won't be able to see what I need. So if you want to enhance a weapon, finding materials is usually easy. You'll just rely on these reinforcement ores. You'll be fine. It's the ascension mats that are the problem. The first one, this is from domains. And the domains require resin. And resin is very limited. I cannot stress that enough. Chaos Device, you can find, ruin guards, ruin hunters all over the world. You just have to go to your adventurer's guide and find, mark them on the map. Shama churls, those are the shaman high churls, sure. And those drop divining scrolls. You'll be farming a lot of these. So, it's always good to go out of your way to farm or to pick up items whenever you can. When you see an item on the ground, you pick it up, because you will probably be needing it somewhere. So that's the weapon. So be sure you pick a weapon, because if you level up multiple weapons, you're gonna have a hard time because it takes resources, and the resources are limited. Again, the first one is from the domain. The second one is from, this one is the Electrocism. They have a respawn timer. And then the Sergeant's Insignia, these are from those agents. And also mages, which have a respawn timer. So be sure you pick your weapon. For your artifacts, again, you have to pick your artifacts properly. I mean, you could just maybe toss a few throwaway artifacts, but don't. I don't think you should level those up, because if you won't be using them in the long run, but you would just like to try out different characters, sure, but don't rank them up, because if you wanna enhance an artifact, the materials needed are other artifacts, and that is also a limited resource, which you will eventually hit a roadblock. I mean, sure, you could farm the domains for that, but my recommendation for that, if you've seen my previous video on artifacts, is that you should wait till rank 35. That way you can farm the 5-star artifacts. So you will be running out of artifacts as you progress to adventure rank 35. So the ideal situation here is pick the ones that you think will best benefit your character, and then stick with those. So as you can see here, I went with the martial artist set and then a berserker set, because they've put it all on attack. Because again, the base attack and the physical damage for Jean is very important, because most of the time you'll be using her normal attacks. Let's go with a different example. For example, with Fischl, since you'll be using Oz, the Crow, most of the time, you'll be going with both attack and elemental mastery. So if for those of you who don't know, elemental mastery is the damage will affect Oz's damage. So I've also leveled up Zhang Ling's elemental mastery, but I've given her also some attack. But I haven't really leveled up a lot of her artifacts yet, because I haven't found a good set. Like these ones, sure, I leveled them up, but I'm probably just going to use them on other artifacts later down the line once I find better ones. But, I just leveled them up just to help with the damage output for both Fischl and Zhangling. But most of my resources have gone to Jean, because Jean is my main damage dealer, while Fish and Zhangling support. So that's another thing you have to be careful with. So be careful with the leveling resources, the weapon, artifacts, and then now you also have talents, because talents require level up material as well, and this again costs resin. So as you can see, resin is really important. It's very limited. You have to be sure you spend it wisely. Whether you spend it on bosses to get the character level up material or character ascension material, whether you use it for the talents level up material, or whether you use it for the weapon ascension material. So you have to be really careful when leveling up characters because resources in this game are very limited. I mean, sure, you could like go around like what I'm doing. I'm marking off all the common chests that I find on the map because those respawn. I mean, I could make an in-depth guide if you guys like on my route on how I farm common chests, because I believe common chests are the only ones that respawn. But, you know, I'm just taking my time with this because I want to be doubly sure that these ones that I've been marking are actually ones that do respawn and are not just, you know, found in the world. But I've been farming those. And then elite monsters. Use your adventurer's guide to find them. That way you can get the character level up material. Like this one. This is what I need for Jean. So you go to the adventurer's hand guide. You go to bosses. Find the boss you need and then navigate, and then it will be shown on the map. And then once you defeat that one, you can just repeat the process. It will show the next one somewhere else in the map until you've killed all of them. Then you'll have to wait for them to respawn. So I hope that has been that proves to be helpful. Again, 1, pick the characters you want to use, whether it be for you enjoy their gameplay style, but be sure that those are the characters that you'll be working on because you'll be using them for a long time. 2, make sure you choose the right weapon for that character because you don't want to waste a lot of resources ascending a weapon and then only to find out that you have another weapon that can probably perform better, because you can't use your old weapon to ascend the new one. So you need to make sure you use your weapon ascension materials wisely because that is limited by the resin. Artifacts. Artifacts are a bit more lenient since you can use your existing artifacts to level up new artifacts that you found, but then again, that is also a limited resource, and usually you don't really try to farm for artifacts under level 35, under adventurer rank 35, because once you hit 35, that's when you can start farming for the 5-star artifacts. But then that too uses resin, so you have to be sure. And then you have to level up the talents, which the materials also cost resin. So a lot of the game's resources, most of them are usually restricted because of the resin. Some are because of the boss and their respawn timers. And of course, I mean, I glossed over this, but I feel like Mora is also another thing that you need to be careful on spending because you will feel like you've run out of money. I mean, when I started this game, I hit like 1 million Mora, and then right now I'm at 264,000 Mora left. So you go through your Mora pretty quick once you start hitting the higher levels. So yeah, guys, I hope that was informative. Thank you so much for watching the video. Until next time, I'll see you then. Bye!